You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Wow, what a year it has been. This week we're breaking down the highs and lows and getting excited for what's in store in 2025. Sit down, grab a drink, and join us. And as always, thanks for tuning in.
From Heels Down Mag, a podcast where horse pros chat about what's happening in the horse world over drinks. Welcome to Happy Hour.
I'm Justine Griffin.
I'm Jessica Payne.
And I'm Ellie Woznicka. Welcome to episode 131 of Heels Down Happy Hour.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
What's up? What's up?
How's
Not
Christmas
much.
shopping going?
I'm almost done. I mean, I still have I'm on the home stretch, I think I'd say it.
I hate that Thanksgiving was so late this year because it feels like such a rush, doesn't it?
Yes.
For
But
real.
then I think it helped me between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And honestly, I will not going to lie, Prime Day being in October helped me out a lot too.
See, you're so good that you planned for that. I'm panicking.
Because so many times I'm last minute, rush shipping things. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I would say I'm about halfway there. So I've got time though. Right?
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to say that this was so I've never worked retail before in my life, right? But I work at the bookstore now. And it was my first Black Friday experience ever as a human. I've never gone in person to Black Friday shopping. It's wild. I've never done it before.
Wow.
And having to work it, I was like, this is so strange. Everybody is here. It was insane.
It gets packed. I worked retail and it is nuts. And I was talking to somebody, they're like, Black Friday, our store's going to be open. I'm like, do you know what Black Friday is? I was it's the busiest day.
I do feel like it's more subdued now than in
I feel
years.
for sure.
Oh, yeah, because it's an entire week. It's not just the one day.
But
I
remember
remember
it used to be just, before online, I remember waking up at the crack of dawn to go to our favorite places and try to get the deals because it was Black Friday.
Oh, yeah. I used to have to cover that.
Used to oh my gosh.
A
my cousins
reporter.
used to sleep out in front of the stores.
Oh,
of,
yeah.
They were that crazy. And I was like, no, I'm never doing that. Ew, gross. But literally working Black Friday, I was like, this is the worst warm-up ring I have been in. I was like,
funny.
holy mackerel.
Oh, boy. Well, this episode is brought to you by Belted Out Goods. And I have a fabulous Christmas party cocktail for you guys this week.
Oh,
I'm excited.
fun.
So if you're going to any holiday parties, tuck this one away because it's great for parties. It is called the Naughty But Nice Christmas Cocktail.
Ooh, okay.
Fun.
And what's cool about it is it can fit any vibe. So if you're a bourbon person, you can make this. If you're a rye whiskey person, you can make this drink. Or you could put vodka in it. It's very versatile. So it fits
That's cool.
all of us. So you're going to take 4 ounces of your chosen liquor, whiskey, bourbon, vodka, whatever. You want 2 ounces of some orange juice, 2 ounces of ginger syrup, 4 ounces of cranberry juice, 4 ounces of club soda, some ice, some orange slices, and some fresh cranberries for garnish if you're feeling fancy. And it's pretty easy. You're basically going to take a cocktail shaker or your glass, fill it with ice, add your liquor, add all your other liquids, then orange juice, ginger syrup, cranberry juice, shake it all. And then pour it between a couple of glasses, add some more ice if you want, top it off with the club soda, and then garnish with your orange or your cranberries, and voila, you're ready to roll.
Oh, that's super fun because you can make the pre-mix and then just add it and add the club soda at the end. Oh, that's super fun.
So it's a little bubbly.
Make it.
Yeah, it's a little bubbly, a little fruity. I think the ginger syrup is what makes it, to be honest. And then it's a tasty drink.
Oh.
So as always, we will share that cocktail recipe in the show notes. But since this is our last podcast of the year, I figured we'd mix it up with the news a little bit. If you guys are game, it's been a pretty big year for horse sports. So I figured we could talk about the biggest moments of the year and maybe looking forward into who we think are going to be who could make big moments in 2025 too. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, do it.
All right, let's start with this year. Jess, like, what were your highlights of like what you saw in horse sports?
I mean, there was so much, but I have to say the Paris Olympics and the fact that it was like at Versailles, the coverage was amazing. It looked like an unreal backdrop. It didn't even look real, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
just such an iconic moment that actually played off, that was the backdrop. You're at Versailles, you're running through the fields. Like, it was just amazing that they were able to pull it off for the Olympics. And to be honest, I thought they did such a good job, the whole team there, getting it together. And, you know, the U.S. came home with a silver in the show jumping as a team medal. That's amazing. Like, congrats to Laura Kraut, McLean Ward, and Carl Cook. They performed so well and really pulled it together to be an incredible team. So really happy about that. The Americans were good, and the eventing as well. You know, Liz had such a, amazing year. She was coming out in top form, and it's just, our thoughts are still with her that after her bad accident at the AECs, we're just still all rooting for her. So, I mean, that's kind of the highs and lows all in one, to be honest.
Seriously. Yeah. I mean, the Olympics, it was an Olympic year. That's always the highlight, right? But like being at Versailles in Paris, it was so special to see that. It was
even when you're watching other sports and you see the Eiffel Tower in the background, like the coverage, and you're just like, this doesn't even look real.
I was so sucked into all of the Olympics. I
all
watched
of it.
All the Netflix documentaries. I knew all the sprinters this year.
Yes, I've never watched so much running in my life.
I know, right? I was like all in. Obviously, you have to watch Simone Biles. Like, I watched everything. Wherever Snoop Dogg was, I was watching it. So
okay, but did you guys see the break dancing?
I did a little bit.
I missed that one as much, but I, for some reason, got into the running, and I really don't. Yeah. I don't know if it was like the timing of it, but we had it on our TV like 24 hours a day.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was a great Olympics year, but it was good for other sports too. I mean, our 2 American 5-stars. I'm not gonna lie. I was really rooting for my bomb in both Maryland and Kentucky. But, of course it's Ollie who just, can't seem to not win them, huh?
I know.
It's hard when a Brit comes over and wins our 5-stars, but
I know.
You kind of can't argue with his performance. So
no, I mean, it was just, you're really hoping somebody could pull it up and, in preparation for everything. My mom wasn't there at the Kentucky 5-star, but I was really hoping that she could nail it out and get it done. But he just keeps not helping us and trying to keep beating it. So, but, congrats to him. Honestly, like, it's a good job. I mean, he's consistent. So that's pretty amazing.
Right. You got to give it to him.
Oh, absolutely.
And then from there, like there were a bunch of big horses that retired this year.
I know.
Stefan Peters retired Mopsy, the Rafe horse, after the Olympics. Jessica Van Brendo Werndl also retired Dalera, who she rode at the Olympics. There were a couple others, right, Jess?
Yeah, Hellloooo retired. Apparently he's going to stay stud in Belgium.
Okay.
He was previously ridden by BZ and then had moved on and now is going to stay in Belgium. And then Philip has now announced that Z is going to retire.
Oh.
But I think in a bunch of different news, a lot of horses have kind of come to be. We've got some young riders coming up. We've got some horses that have been with now new riders. We talked a little bit about how Liz is, still building forward. And so these are not horses that are fully getting moved to the new riders, but they're going to keep them going. So I think it's still going to be interesting to watch. Lynn Szymanski's got, I think, a couple of horses. Like she's going to kind of manage the barn, but then Will Coleman and Boyd Martin are going to take a couple each of the top horses and keep them going so that when Liz comes back, she can have the horses in prime shape and everything. That's kind of what all of our owners agreed upon. And yeah, I mean, the whole community's kind of rallied together to help, support and just be there for when Liz comes back and that our horses will be ready. But then we've got some young young riders coming up. Crosby Green's looking great these days. Mia Farley's, been on top form with Phelps and she's got some young ones. And then it just got announced not long ago that the global champion tour, the Longines Tour, they had this Super Grand Prix Foxy De La Croix won it, and it is now that horse is going to come America with Carl Cook after it does Geneva. So that's a huge, huge buy for America in the show jumping. That it is an amazing horse. I think she's only 9 years old, and she's bred so well. So that will be really exciting for Carl to kind of take the reins on that one.
That's way exciting. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of also just fun horses to watch, and that I'm excited to like continue to watch. I know I've talked about him in the past, but I'm really excited for King Edward. It was the first time I had seen that horse go at the Olympics with Hendrik von Eckern. Yeah, and I know
he was in Tokyo, right? Because Tokyo was when he was barefoot that everyone was all obsessed with him. And then
yes.
But then he had shoes on in Paris, right? He shows the versatility, right? But he is cool.
Yeah, but that I didn't see much of the Tokyo games, and so literally like watching this horse, I was just really excited to like see his future. Like I just think he's remarkable to watch. So I'm super excited for that. And like on like the Western side, right? We had Jason Van Landingham won the Run for a Million again this year. And there were some really remarkable horses in that for the reining that I'm just excited to see, where they go. So I'm just, it just was a good year. I'm excited to watch the horses continue. A good belt goes a long way in pulling a fabulous riding outfit together. And Belted Out Goods has a look, color, and theme for every equestrian. The handmade belts are stylish enough to pair with breeches for riding or with jeans or a skirt for a night out. They provide ample stretch and come in a variety of gorgeous class hardware to choose from. Find a look of your own at beltedoutgoods.com.
All right, guys. So I feel like we have exhausted all of the great picks that are out there for like your equestrian gifts in our Heels Down gift guide, holiday gift guide this year. So I wanted to put a spin on our product review this month and ask you, what is on your Christmas shopping list this year that is not horsey?
Ooh.
Which is like, 3% of my shopping list.
Yeah, for real.
But, there are other things we need in life. So I don't know. Who wants to go first? Who wants to share?
Ellie, do you have anything?
Yeah, I can go. So obviously I've been working at the bookstore for a few months and we get a good discount. So part of my paycheck goes to buying more books, which is a problem.
Yeah.
But it makes what I need for my non-horsey thing more bookshelf, starting to get piles of like books, and it's getting a little precarious. I'm not looking like hoarders or anything yet, but just like there's like a table with 6 books here and then there's like 6 on my nightstand. I'm like, oh my God, this is getting a little crazy. I already have a lot of bookshelves. I mean, obviously we've talked about horse books and books in general a lot on the podcast, but so I need some more. So hint, hint, nudge, nudge, Matt.
Hopefully you're listening, Matt.
Yeah. Right. Either make me some bookshelves or buy me some bookshelves. So that's top of my list for non-horsey products for sure.
What about you? Just.
So I did just have a birthday and everything. My non-horsey one is that I wanted a new dryer and new chairs, like, because my children have destroyed the bar stool chairs. And so those were like my big things that were on sale. So like, I already kind of know I'm getting them as like an early one. But to be honest, the one thing that I was thinking today, and it is horsey, but it's because of the weather, is that I need new gloves, like winter gloves. Like, so they're not, okay, I mean, I could use them to ride. Like, I probably just need like 3 pairs because I need some for like getting in the car. It's been so cold this last week, and it's not normally this cold this early. So I'm a little concerned that I like need more winter gear just to like survive to walk down the stairs.
It is cold already. I'm with you. Like it's colder out sooner.
Like normally I'm like fine in my normal gloves to like January or February. And I was like searching, and then the pair I have is like apparently like disintegrate. I was like, oh, I didn't even know I needed winter gloves. Like, so I'm finding out these things that I need very quickly, like they're not worthy to even go. I was just standing around. And I was like, I needed to find like 3 more jackets. So I guess mine would be that I need more winter stuff.
Okay,
That's
fair.
Helpful. What about you?
Because what do you want?
All of yours sound very practical, just like a mom.
I know.
I don't know. It's a good question. I like, like skincare stuff, but secretly, like I don't think I've ever bought myself like a purse in my life. That's always a gift I get from somebody. I'm not really like the type of person who's going to go pick out a nice designer purse. Luckily, that is my mom. Like my mom is like Coach, Louis Vuitton, very into all that. She's very disappointed that she did not get a daughter who was into girly things. So,
oh, see, that's me. But that's what I got a new purse a month ago for my birthday. So
there you go. Okay.
I got the new Fairfax and Favor, and it's like brown. So it's beautiful. But that's the problem. Like I get a bunch of things for my birthday because I wanted it for this trip. So then like my Christmas is not going to be. I'm sure it's still going to be big, but it's like all the things I wanted, I got kind of earlier than expected.
I mean, you need a dryer, girlfriend. It's okay.
My mother was the practical one and bought the dryer.
There you go. All right. But yeah, so like I will wear my like one purse to like out till it's falling apart because
and full of horse things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it goes to the barn and then it has to be big enough to have a computer in it because I'm working like from literally anywhere these days. So
I'm going to send you a picture. This one fits my laptop, and I go
that's great.
I go everywhere with it. It's so beautiful.
I told my mom, like, now's the time to pick out the new purse for me. And she's like all excited. Because I'm like, mine's dying. So
this is it.
The straps are not going to make it much longer. All right. So send me, Jess. I love that. I will send it to my mom. So that's mine. That's, not that exciting. It's not something I get excited about, but it's practical in that I need a functional one,
Yeah. No, I get that.
What about your guys? Like, what do they want?
I have no idea. I keep asking and I'm not getting an answer.
Oh boy.
Doug I just got him, and it was supposed to be the Christmas one. So now this is where I'm like on the home stretch. We got him a 360 like camera cool thing that like had like a selfie stick. Oh, and cool. So he wanted that kind of as his birthday present. So I was like, okay, great. Well, then on his birthday, which was yesterday, I was like, okay, I had like something small for you, but I really think because of this weather, you might want one of your Christmas gifts. So I've like been exchanging things because I got him that Oro heated vest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so when it was so cold, so he wore it today and he goes, I'm very glad you gave me that one early because it was so cold.
Wow.
I mean, it's been in the 20s every night here.
Dang, that's pretty cold. All right.
Yeah, it's been in the 20s during the days here. And like
gosh,
low teens at night. Yeah, it's not been fun. Yeah, I don't know. What about Alex? Do you have a plan?
He's a hard one to shop for. So like in the past, I've bought him like cooking stuff because I don't cook. He cooks everything. So like I got him like the big green egg type of grill one year that he likes. So
have you gotten him a smoker?
Well, so you can do that in the big green egg, kind of. So then
I have both.
I was going to try to get him the Blackstone grill top thing. Have you seen those?
Yeah, yes. I have seen those.
My mom has the Blackstone, and she likes it.
Well, he doesn't want
it's different what he wants. Oh, he doesn't want it.
Yeah, because that was what I picked for him. I was like, what do you think? And he's like, nah. I'm like, okay.
Show him the Traeger.
So I need to literally run the ideas past him because I'm like, I'm going to spend this money and he's going to be like, I don't want it.
Exactly. No, so we kind of do the same thing. So we have a green egg that we've had for, 15 years probably. And so then we have for Father's Day or Christmas or something one year, I just surprised him with the smoker. And it's got Wi-Fi enabling everything else. Wow. And so we smoke on it all the time. Like I don't grill on the green egg. I'm just not very good at it.
Me either.
The Traeger app or website or whatever gives you recipes and it tells you like step by step what temperature to do. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I can follow directions. I can't
There you
grill,
go.
but I can follow directions. And so, but he loves it. He likes to smoke everything on it. He would want to cook every meal on this thing. And he's not the cook. Like I cook a ton and he grills, but this was probably had it 2 years or something. And it's called the Traeger smoker. It is amazing.
Okay, that is good to know. Well, so I ended up going in a very different direction.
Oh, you just went somewhere else.
I'm like, what else do you want if it's not food related? And he's a tech guy, so we ended up getting the Ray-Bans with the Meta, the smart glasses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So they're Ray-Ban sunglasses, but they have the Meta AI within them. So they're sunglasses that have a camera. So it's like you don't need a GoPro anymore because your sunglasses have a camera in them. They have AI, so like it can offer you like real-time suggestions or translate a sign or get a recipe like literally in your glasses. It's kind of crazy. There's a bunch of like voice command control stuff that you can do. And they even have speakers in them. So like you could listen to podcasts in your sunglasses. It's really kind of wild. So yeah, I ended up getting him those. I feel like I destroy sunglasses every 2 months. So I cannot do these because they're too expensive and they would be broken in literally 2 months. But he will take care of them.
Yeah, I've been trying to think like what to get for Matt because he always just gives me a list of things like that are useful for the farm, you know, like, oh, I need this new wrench set or I need this for the welder, you know, or like I need these parts for the tractor. I'm like, no, I don't want to get things that are like useful. Like I want things that like basically I want him to do self-care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've tried to do some like different things this year. Like I'm going to try to get him like, I mean, he's not going to sit down and like wear a face mask or anything like that. You know, he's not one of those guys, but I want to kind of like do stuff like that. Like, so I bought him like some like candles for him to like burn while he's taking a shower. And like, yeah.
I can't
like,
wait to see if he's actually going to use them.
Yeah.
That's very thoughtful though.
That's super cute though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm knitting him a sweater, but like as
now
someone
that's sweet.
What about music, right? He's a musician. Does he need anything new?
Well, he's got like 14 guitars, so I hope not. He's got 14 guitars, a drum set, a keyboard, like bass guitar, microphones. So, I mean, I could ask him if he needs a new amp or something. That's a good idea, Justine. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I feel bad because like as a knitter who like makes homemade things, you know, like I feel like I make you a sweater like every other year. So is it like kind of you know, cop out, like an easy thing?
No, it's still made with love.
Yeah. So I guess that's what I'm going to do because I don't know. And otherwise I have to get him things that are like, you know, to go do work. And I don't want to like, obviously, yes, useful, but I want him to like focus on himself, especially with tax season coming up. He's starting to get all like stressed out and stuff. I'm like, you need aromatherapy.
Aww.
And also some new gin. So what do you guys got for goals?
Yeah, I wanted to ask this too, Ellie. I think that's God, I can't believe it's already the end of the year. Like, it's sort of crazy to think about. But I always feel like it depends on the year. If I have goals or I'm like a no goals person. What about you guys? I mean, if you don't have goals or you're not like a goal setting person, what is one thing you want to do next year? How about we go at it from that angle?
So for me, I'm not really like it has to be one goal. I think it's more just like steps and stuff. So I kind of think more mine is like bucket list kind of places and like things that are kind of fun.
I
and
like
so
that.
For me, it's like if it doesn't happen, then it's fine. And sometimes it's, you know, just places to go and places to see. And for me, I always love to like go down and start the season down in Wellington and kind of get like regrouped and everything else. And so for me, that kind of just jump starts our season of like how we can plan and everything. So like I'll go down there and coach and if I need to ride anything and it's just a good time. It's right before the kids start school. And so it's kind of easier for me that I'm not really, you know, I'm still trying to balance how to do everything with the kids still attending school at some point that they need to do more times than not. And so, yeah, my goal, or not my goals, like my kind of bucket list is like, obviously, like I want to go and we will go down to Wellington and do that. I probably won't do our February show because it will be harder for me to get to. But then hopefully go down if Doug gets into Live Oak. That's always been a cool venue that I really want to go kind of see and watch, and hopefully Doug can participate in. And it's just something different for horses. It's on the grass. So I'm looking forward to hopefully we can do that. And my favorite in the spring is always Kentucky. So I always like hope that we can do Kentucky in some sort of form. And so this year, it might look a little different. I don't think we'll have an event horse there. So it would be with the 2 jumpers. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's probably the first year you guys haven't had an event horse there in how many years?
Yeah, it's probably been, I mean, my first Kentucky was 2010 that I attended, like that I was competing at.
Yeah.
And then I think we've skipped 2 years, maybe 3. And one of them probably was COVID too. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how many, but not many. But it's been definitely always like a fun show. It's amazing. And so that's kind of like one of the things. It'd be a bucket list to go back there, but maybe in a different form.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. And I like the outlook. That's a great way to look at it.
So then, because at the end of the day, like, you don't get in because of points, you don't get in because a horse gets hurt. Like, it's not an end all goal. It was more just a bucket list that you wanted to go to, and you could make it happen. Because I feel like every time that I was like, I have to go to this event, even when I was riding, then I would be like more upset. And I was like, okay, well, my bucket list is to do this. And I really want to do this. And this season. And, my bucket list was to go to Blenheim. I really, really wanted to do that. And thankfully that kind of happened for me. So I kind of break it down like that instead of just goals.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Ellie?
Well, I saw something actually online that like was like, oh, instead of like New Year's resolutions, do like New Year's inspiration.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I kind of liked that idea of doing, like you said, like not setting specific goals, but like setting just like, mindsets, I guess. So like for me, obviously, like my biggest one is I want to ride more. Like this was my year, or my second year rather, of like getting back into the swing of things. So like getting my body to remember how to be a body that works. So like I'm feeling more confident in that. So now I want to like actually spend more time in the saddle. So I'm excited and like hopeful for that. But like I also don't want to like get my hopes up too high. So I'm just like doing the idea of I'm going to spend more time in the saddle, whether that's just sitting there or actually like going and doing things. That's my goal. Like I would love to get Q like on cattle more, just because I think it would be fun for both of us to do. So that's like an idea that I would like to do, whether that means just like going and helping some neighbors move some cattle or actually like going to like a sorting or things. So those are kind of like my horsey things. In terms of like things I definitely like without a doubt like want to do in 2025. My friend lives near a lake and she always goes and rides her horse in like September, and it's kind of just like riding on the beach. I want to do that so bad. So she's like, yeah, absolutely. Like we can go once the, seasonal people are done, once it starts to get cold. So I'm doing that. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to make time. I'm going to take time off of work. I'm going to schedule it and I'm going to do it because I've wanted to do that my whole life. So that's my like bucket goal.
I love
thing.
that. I'm like shaking my arms in the air for you, Ellie. Like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if I won't be able to like gallop, I might like, I always tell people like I would love like a horse seatbelt now. And I know they make them for like children, but I don't think that they're very safe. I would rather fall off than get fell on. But yeah, so those are my like horsey goals. And then I've also got into like Goodreads and like setting like the goals for like how many books you want to read every year and like things like that. So I'm kind of trying to do that to like spend more time like just away from my phone. I think that's my overall thing for 2025 is just to like, do things with Matt where like phones are not allowed and like actually like putting it down and like being together and doing things, because I think it's definitely kind of taken over my life this year. I don't know if that was like, with the election and everything, like, I've been like so glued to it that I'm like, what, I want to spend time away from that, doing things with people and for myself. So yeah, that was like a long rant, but those are my plans.
Those are all good plans.
Yeah.
I want your plans.
Well, why? What are your plans, Justine?
I don't know. I'm like afraid to put them out, like say them out loud and put them out in the world, because every time I do that, then I feel like Mikey goes lame, so I'm like afraid to do that. But I don't know, like these last 2 years of lameness, like it changes you. I don't have to tell you,
Yeah.
Ellie, like you feel upside down for so long, and then it's like hard to find joy in the horses sometimes. And Mikey is sound right now, and we're like starting over for the third time, and I'm hoping that it sticks this time, but I don't know. I'm not a fool anymore to think that it's over, So
Right.
I'm just trying to enjoy the moment and trying to enjoy horses without like the FOMO sensation of like other people doing things I wish I could do,
That's why I need to get off the phone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think that's smart. I mean, I wish I could ignore the politics cycle too, but sadly my work won't let me do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
But yeah, it's like finding joy in the horses that is for me and for nobody else. And so I'm still like contending with that, because I want to set goals. I want to be like, can we like make realistic goals to show again? I don't know. Like it's too early to say. So I am trying not to focus on that. I'm just trying to find a happy place with horses this year, and not be like so wrecked by the up and downs, because I've been like wrecked by it for, you know what I mean? And then it creeps into so many other parts of my life because I'm upset, and I'm tired of letting it consume me in that way. So my goal for 2025 is just to find a way to keep horses in my life that makes me feel like happy and that it's healthy, but there's no pressure. And if it all works out, that's great. If it's like me just going to the barn and being able to hug Mikey and just like hang out, like that's fine. For this next year, like that's fine. I'll be fine. Yeah. And then, so, but like do things that are low pressure. Like I love your beach ride idea. I would love to do that. Or like take Mikey somewhere where like we just get to trail ride, and like places I always said I wanted to go and do it, but never did because I'd rather go to a horse show on a weekend. Like go and do those things,
Yeah.
So that's like it for horses for me. In 2025, I'm with you too, Jess. Like I have a bunch of trips planned. We're skiing in Park City. So then it's my mom's 60th birthday in February. So we're going to Paris, which is exciting. And actually her birthday is 4 days after mine. So we always do birthday stuff together.
Oh,
so
fun.
Yeah. So we have, I have lots of also like non-horsey things planned for the year too. So I'm just trying to find a healthier balance where my happiness isn't completely decided by Mikey.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really valid and I think important.
It's easier said than done, right? But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm excited for a new year. It'll all be good, whether I meet goals or not. Because as you guys know, like for so many years, my goals were so tied to performance. You know, even though it was a low-level amateur rider, like everything was like, well, I want to move up next year. And that it's weird when like that is not
what happens.
Like a feasible thing. Yeah.
Right.
So it is what it is, but it's all good,
Yeah, and I think it's really important that you brought that up too, Justine, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to that. I mean, I know I can. I think just like, it's so easy to become like burnt out, I think, in this industry in general, that like the horses don't become like the joy anymore. They become
They're
like
supposed to be fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that like that goal of just like being happy and doing fun things with your horse, I think that's great.
Thank you. You guys make me feel better about it. I'm still coming to terms with it though. It's not like I'm I'm not a perfect model for this, but
No.
I'm
Nobody
convincing
is.
myself
Trust
of
me.
it.
Nobody is.
No, I mean, I'm not either by any means. Like, there are some days where I'm like, I should ride, but also like, I don't want to get on a horse because I know I can't do what I used to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even want to. Like, I don't even want to do it. I'll just put you outside, you know? And like, so that's like just sucky because it's like, normally I would, brush them and, do things.
Be more involved.
Yeah, so that's I know. I'm gonna copy your goal, Justine. I'm gonna do that too, and just try to become more like just content with
and enjoy the moment.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it. Yep.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, filled with family, food, celebration, and warmth. Whether 2024 was the year you reached your goals, added new exciting horses to your string, or spent the majority of it rebuilding for the next year, there's plenty to reflect on and celebrate. The team at Heels Down is happy to highlight some of our favorite brands and products that made a difference in our rides this year. We're sharing our honest, tried and true reviews of some gift-worthy ideas for you. Perfect for the equestrian in your life, just in time for the holiday shopping season. See our top picks in the 2024 Heels Down Holiday Gift Guide at heelsdownmag.com. So, guys, it's that time. Rose and Thorn.
Woo! Woot! Who wants to go?
I can go because my my thorn is really, really being thorny.
Oh boy!
Oh, no.
So we talked about the cold, right? Like, I don't care about the cold, but the issue was it was so wet before the cold that the ice is unreal right now.
Oh.
Like, I'm talking just like my gates to get into my pastures are just a sheet of ice and like thick. So like Matt and I have been putting ashes down and stuff to like try, but there are spots like throughout the pastures that are like that. And it's underneath 2 inches of snow. So the horses won't be able to see it. So it's frustrating because for like a week, my horses have been stuck inside, but I have one pasture that's still good. Like that doesn't have ice. So I've been like rotating each group for like 3 hours, which yes, it's better than nothing, but it's so frustrating. And like, I feel bad because like I go to I've been off for a few days, and Matt was off all last week because of Thanksgiving. But now that we're not going to be here, and we're both going to be at work, they're going to have to be stuck in their stalls. And it just sucks. Like, I hate ice. Like, I would prefer mud. I don't like mud either, but I would prefer mud over the ice.
Yeah, all of that I don't want any of it.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is like in the way I say it to myself is like, look, like stay in the stall or break your leg. Yeah, we're gonna pick stay in the stall.
We're gonna stay in the stall.
Yep, like you guys will be okay. I'll turn you out in the arena and turn you out for a few hours. I'll walk you when you needed. But after having them all on stall rest for rehabs, I'm like, I know you'll be fine for just this week, but. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the ashes start to break it up and that we have some warmer weather that we can't help where the water settles, right? But yeah, that was just frustrating. So that's my thorn for sure. My rose is actually a fun one. So one of our listeners, Stephanie Scribner, she actually makes like these like little like puzzle journals and like horse journals for like keeping track of like your goals and things. And she actually sent me like one of the puzzle ones and one of the journals that I'm excited to use like for next year. And I just really like the puzzles. I feel like I'm starting to get old because I'm starting to get excited about things like new vacuums and new socks. And
you want a dryer too?
I have a dryer in my basement. Don't get me started on that because we had to replace our washer. And Matt's like, well, the dryer's still working. But I'm like, but the dryer doesn't match the washer anymore. So I bought the dryer and it's just sitting in our basement. And he's like, until the dryer dies. So, yeah. So dryers are a sensitive subject right now. But
no.
In any case, I feel like I'm getting so excited about these things, but I really like, going back to my goal, like the puzzle one is really fun for me because it, gets me off of my phone and I'm using my brain to do word searches and stuff, but it's also horse related. So it's fun. So thank you, Stephanie. Those are a lot of fun. And yeah, if anyone else wants to check those out, they are a lot of fun.
I know. Send it to me. I'm interested. That sounds great.
Yeah, no, I'm like perfect mix of like using my brain and, it's still ponies, so it just makes it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Jess?
So mine, I turned 40 a couple weeks ago. And so a couple of my friends, like couples we went to Costa Rica. We'd never been to Costa Rica. So Doug, myself, and 3 other couples went to Costa Rica, and it was beautiful. We had so much fun. We all went without kids. We all have children. So it was fun that we left the kids, and we had the best time. Like it was a group that had not traveled together. And so it was fun that we all came together and like, we laughed for like, whose birthday's next year? Like we have to do this. Like it was one of the coolest trips. Like we went on excursions and everything else. And it's a beautiful country. And we went to not a very touristy part of it. And so, yeah, it was a blast. And it was definitely a trip to remember. So that's
awesome.
Amazingly, obviously, my rose. Like it was incredible. We went zip lining, and I'm scared of heights, so I think most of the time my eyes were closed, but I still made it. And then we like did the ATVs, and it was great. It was a great group, and we had a blast. So that by far is probably going to be my rose for a while, I feel like. And then because it's going to be definitely hard to beat.
And
my
I feel
thorn.
Like it's important to find, like, it's amazing when you find new groups of friends at this age that you can travel with, because it's a gamble, right?
It's a gamble. I mean? Well, like, what if somebody,
real.
I mean, we went to sleep by 9:00 every night. Like, not everybody wants to go to bed as early as we do. But like, I mean, and when I mean like 9:00, that was like the late night. You know what I mean? Like I was asleep by 9:30 in the hotel room in the sleep. Like, and so, it worked out, and I had planned the whole trip. So I found the hotel, and then everybody booked it. But like, I had a lot of like kind of panic about, did I book the right place? Did I find a place? Like, does this place even exist? Like all of the panic went in, and it turned out like, I said to one of them, I was like, Grant, I think I crushed it. Like, I was like,
Aww.
So I was like excited because, yeah, I mean, our age group, it wasn't everybody. Like we had we were everybody from like our mid 30s to like, mid 50s. So it was a wide range of everybody, and it was so fun.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah. So it was super fun. And then because we did that only a couple weeks ago, and then it was the week before Thanksgiving, and then we had Thanksgiving, and then normally we have Doug's parents come in town before Thanksgiving. Now they're coming after. This is usually supposed to be our slow season, and like every weekend's booked with like family coming in town or like family events or whatever else. And I'm like, oh, so by the next time we know it, we're like, we didn't take an off season at all. Like our horses did, but like we personally didn't. So it's kind of wrapping ourselves around like every weekend's booked has been a lot.
Oh boy.
So that's my thorn, is that like, it's not really a thorn, but I feel like sometimes we're supposed to have slow seasons, and we're just going to have to push through it and be okay.
I know it's hard around the holidays. I was just having a conversation with a coworker about this, but like being an adult in the holidays, it gets worse and worse the older you get. Like it's not fun anymore because you have to appease so many people, Well,
and I mean, I love all these people and all that, but like, it's like, it's like mentally draining by the end of it. And you're just like, I thought like I'd have a week off, and normally we just like go, and then downtime. But I mean, I did this to myself. So it's like totally fine. Like I'm not saying that, but I'm just like, wow, okay. So I'm trying to take like Monday, Tuesdays to be light days at this rate.
I know. It's like, cause it's a marathon. The holidays are a marathon.
Yeah.
I hear ya. All right.
What do you got?
I'll start with my thorn because it's funny. So as you guys know, I moved Mikey to a new boarding barn recently, and it's in a part of town here that is like essentially considered the city. Like it's a very different boarding style than what we're used to. Like I'm used to driving at least an hour out of town to board my horse, or, there's more land, it's more farmland, yada, yada. But where we board now is like it's in the same county that I live in. It's, it's like an incorporated city, and they're mostly smaller farms, but the city is so cool, like in that they have parks that the cities maintain that incorporate, like one has multiple riding arenas in it, and they maintain horse trails that go around the city limits and stuff. Cool. Yeah, it's very unique, but the horse trails are, one, they've been awesome as I've been bringing Mikey back into work because, for a while the rehab is just walking. So there's a lot of places to go, but it's not like I'm going to a state park where I'm in the woods. I'm like, I can stop at a gas station like on the way, like I'm in the city. It's crazy. So you run into people and things and traffic on these city trails that you can't always predict, right? It's an interesting trail ride. So like literally today I took Mikey out, like I worked him in the arena and then like cooled out on part of the trail because the trail picks up right off the farm property. And you walk through this like beautiful maintained park with a lake and a pretty gazebo and like a boardwalk for people to walk. And so there are like people out there like enjoying a city park, like working out, or some people fish off the gazebo into the lake, yada, yada. And then the horse trail, there's a bridge that goes over part of the lake and then it puts you into a wooded trail. So I went over the bridge and into the trail. And actually I saw a zebra. This story sounds crazy. Random. But so like you walk by the other horse farms, like the trail is connected to all these horse farms in the city, and somebody has a zebra. It's the first time I've seen it. So I'm like, wow, okay, there's a real life zebra that lives here. But and people will stop you on the side of the road because they're like videoing you on a horse because it's like a unique thing. These are all city people and their horses here, So like people asked to pet Mikey today. I'm looking at the zebra, blah, blah, whatever. So then I'm walking back over the bridge, over the lake to go back to the farm. And there's a woman on her phone pushing a stroller, like has a baby in a stroller. And she's like out walking, like dressed in fitness wear, like she's out for the day walking with her kid. And just the way, like I come out of a wooded horse trail and get on a bridge. So Mikey was very startled by the woman with the stroller that was also on the bridge. And there are two bridges. One are for people and one are for people on horses. And this woman was on the horse bridge, which whatever, it's like not a big deal. But she for sure startled Mikey. So like, his head went up, he's snorting, he's backing up, and she's on the phone. So I'm trying to signal to her like, hey, like don't stop coming at me.
Yeah, can you stop
like,
for a second?
Yeah. And so she realizes and stops, and I'm like, do you mind just backing away for a few minutes? Like, I don't want anybody to get hurt, is what I said. And so that got her attention, and she backed away, but she still stayed on the bridge. And Mikey is not really a spooky guy, but he's also like not been in work. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the time to like press the buttons for him, So I just gave him a minute and like, chill, dude. Like, it's a stroller. You're going to be fine. Like, it was quiet. It wasn't a big deal. And then, but he just like was not having it. And so he kept trying to leave the bridge, but the bridge is too small for him to turn around. Like, I'd have to back him out. And he panicked and reared and did this beautiful pirouette to turn around on the bridge. But this is the second time like where like the city people have caught me recently, and I've decided I need to get an air vest moment.
Oh, no.
I was like, it's probably worth getting the air vest,
It's probably worth it. I promise you, I love mine.
I know. It's lightweight. And like for these moments where I have no control over what's happening, like it's just, we're presented with a problem and I'm too far away from the home barn and we just got to get through it, So it wasn't the woman's fault. Like everybody's fine. Like we made it home. It wasn't a big deal. But the week before, we were on another part of a wooded horse trail that then opens up into like a city intersection, and there were people camping. Like they had like just for the day, like they rode their bikes to the park and had put up like a little half tent and were laying in the grass. But it was, for a horse that has like walked this trail numerous times, he like came out of the woods into this open field and there was a tent and people in it. He was like, what the heck,
Yeah.
So my thorn is that I need an air vest to survive the city trails.
It might be time.
Yeah, I think it's time. Whew. And then my rose is honestly this week I hung out with everybody at the Horse Radio Network for the annual Radiothon event representing Heels Down. It was me and a few folks from other shows. It was Debbie from the Horsemanship show, and then the Dressage show was on it too. It was a lot of fun. And of course, Heels Down brought the official cocktail for Radiothon. And we had a lot of fun. So if you didn't tune into the Radiothon when it was happening live, it is now released hour by hour. So you guys can find it and listen to it if you want. It was a lot of fun. So that was my my rose this week.
I was going to say, we have a really good mailbag this week.
We do. Tell us, Jess.
Because I don't know much about this. So that's why I was like, I got to ask Ellie, because it's really interesting, actually. And I'm sure, Justine, you know a little bit. But Cassie in the Facebook group said, "Hey, everyone, I've gone a little Winglish or Western English this year, and she needs some help. She grew up as a dressage event hunter jumper rider with different points over the last 25 years, but she's learning that her horse has different preferences. Her original goal was to do dressage, but now she's looking into Western and kind of the cowboy dressage and some trail riding. Her question to us is she wants to know if there's any good online resources that have kind of a crossover or beginner basics with this big kind of style change. She's not a beginner rider, but there's always stuff to learn. And, she's just dealing with the different tack changes and everything else. She says lessons would be an option, but winners in Colorado tend to lead themselves to be a little bit more online, out of the saddle learning. And she says most of the stuff she can find with online resources are English based. So she wants to know if there's any kind of, we've talked about Ride IQ and everything else. Do you find any of that for a Western base that kind of gives her, tack ideas too and everything?
Yeah. So let me break it down. So the first question that she talked about, it was wanting to know the why behind having a snaffle on a bridle with a throat latch versus the one ear styles that you see. So I'm not going to lie and say that I don't use a one ear with a snaffle, but you really shouldn't, because more so, right, the way that bridle horses are brought up in their tack is more so that when you're starting them, right, you're same thing with us, right? You're going to start them in a snaffle. You're not going to start them, in a pelham. Same thing with a horse for Western, right? You're not going to start them in a curb bit. You're going to start them in a snaffle. So having the throat latch and a brow band for you're still going to have your curb strap there, but the bit has a different, right, leverage. So obviously when you pull back on the reins on the snaffle bit, it's more of a straight to your hand thing where you're pulling, which sometimes, can pull away from the horse's ears depending on how hard you're pulling. So if a horse isn't broke and, reaches up and, moves his ear, sometimes they can pull them off. So having the throat latch helps with that versus obviously a bit with a curb, the leverage makes the bit, it twists more forward. So you're not having to worry about it disconnecting from the pole, if that makes sense. But again, it depends mostly on your horse and what you're doing. A lot of the horses that I ride snaffles in, I'm not ever really pulling back. So it doesn't really matter that I'm using the one ear. It, still not recommended, but I'm not going to lie and say that I don't do it. In terms of shifting over to Western, I was very fortunate that I was able to do it in the collegiate setting. So I had a lot of practices and lessons to learn the differences. But in terms of helping you outside of the saddle, I would always recommend the 7 clinics with Buck Brannaman. It's 7 different DVDs that work from the ground up. And that I think is beneficial, not just to Western English, that's just an in general thing of how you can help horses to be really successful partners. So that's something I'm always going to recommend for something that you can do outside of the saddle. The notes that I have from watching those throughout the years are insane. And the other thing is check out Trafalgar Square. I know we've talked about them a lot, and they're a great partner with us, and they have great books. But they also have a whole section. I think they're even doing like a bundle thing right now because they've published Lynn Palm's Western Dressage Guides, which she is a phenomenal horseman. And those like will be like more step-by-step guides that will help you to kind of learn the background. And I know they have cowboy dressage books as well. So I would check them out. But I know Lynn Palm like is a great horseman and would be great. So those are good things to like start your learning. But I think obviously the biggest and most important thing is going to be lessoning with a Western trainer. That is, you know, immeasurable with the amount of good and help you're going to get and the understanding. It's a lot nicer than reading a book because then if you have a question, you can ask and get an answer right then and there. So those are my overall recommendations for that.
Good one, Sully. So I would help, you know, I've always been curious about this. Like, if it sounds like Cassie already has a dressage background, like how much of that carries over into this new like cowboy dressage world?
Literally pretty much all of it.
Oh, good. That's great.
So, and that's something that Buck Brannaman talks about a lot. Like, and after clinicking with him, I mean, there were dressage riders at the clinic. It is like very much the same.
I love that. That's great.
Right. I mean, just with a little bit, you know, different aids, a little bit different contact, a little less, you know, leg, a little less rein, like, but really and truly, it's very similar. So yeah, definitely would look at Buck.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, if you have a question for us and you want us to talk about it on the air, you can always send it to us at justine@heelsdownmedia.com, or you can post it in our Facebook group, which is the Heels Down Happy Hour Podcast Lounge. And if you want to hear more from us, you should check out heelsdownmag.com for the latest news. And that's where our Heels Down Holiday Gift Guide is published right now. And follow us, please, at Heels Down Happy Hour on Instagram and at Heels Down Mag on Facebook and TikTok. And if you love our show, please give us a rate and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We want to say thank you to our sponsors this month, Belted Out Goods. All right, guys, that's a wrap.
Cheers.